In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can use pretend play food to teach your toddler new words intentionally using speech therapy strategies that are research-based. I'm Adrienne. I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist from learnwithadrienne.com, where I share ideas for parents and caregivers and other speech therapists to help their toddlers to communicate clearly, listen well, and gain life skills for their future. In this video, I'll be using the How Kids Learn to Talk visual printable that I created, where I took all the speech therapy strategies that are research-based and I linked them with an icon that can help you remember. At a glance, you can see all the strategies that I tend to use with speech therapy clients. You can download this for free at my website, learnwithadrienne.com. So I'll be using these strategies in this video today. The first one is that I like to keep the food items out of reach. So I put them in a little basket here. You could use a bag, a bucket. I'm using this food play set that I got at Target years ago. I'm not sure if they still sell it, but I'll link some similar ones that you can find on Amazon below if you don't already have a food set. Use what you have. Don't go out and buy something new. So this is for ages 3+. So I've taken out anything that has a small piece that could be a choking hazard, and I just keep it in this box away from his play area so he has no access to anything that could be dangerous for him. And then I just supervise him when we're playing with this. And that leads me to the first strategy, which is called keeping things out of reach. So we call that a communication temptation. So I'm going to be, when we're playing with these food items, I'm in control of this basket so that he needs to communicate with me. If I were to just dump them all out on the floor, his focus would be on all the food instead of on me to communicate to get the food. So that's called a communication temptation, and on this sheet I call it out of reach. What I would do next is offer a choice, which is another strategy on that sheet. And I would say, do you want ice cream or lemon? Do you see how I'm holding it close to my mouth? This allows him to already be looking at the object that he's interested in, but also my mouth is within his vision. And so he can see the object, and then he also sees that my mouth is moving, and my mouth is what's responsible for making the sounds that he's hearing. So I'd say, do you want ice cream or lemon? And then I can tell when he's looking at me, I can tell which one he's looking at. And so when he looks at one object for longer, that's his choice. Now he is starting to point with one pointer finger at 13 months. He's been doing that for a couple weeks now, and so that's been really fun because he'll point to his choice sometimes. But even if he doesn't point, I will use his eye contact as an indicator that that is what his choice is. He's been making choices since he was an infant because I've given him an opportunity to choose between two things. You can do this from day one. Whichever option they look at the longest is their choice, and you would give that to them. The long-term goal is that he would say ice cream or lemon. So that's what we're building up to as he continues to grow and develop his language skills. Then I could say, do you want the corn or the carrot? If he looks at the carrot or points to it, I would say carrot. Here's the carrot. Grab one of their stuffed animals, and you can pretend to feed the lion the carrot. So they're learning the word for carrot, they're learning the word for lion, and they're learning the word eat. So you can show them what it looks like when a lion eats, or chomp, chomp, chomp. You can introduce different vocabulary like texture words. So I think the lion wants something crunchy. What's something crunchy? Let's find an apple is crunchy. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Do you want to feed him the apple? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Apples are crunchy. You can use texture words like crunchy, soft, smooth. You can use taste words like sweet, sour, bitter, tangy. The next strategy is pointing and saying. So by pointing to something, you're drawing their attention and their focus to what you're looking at and what you're showing them. Orange. Do you want an orange? Pointing really emphasizes what you're looking at, and it also encourages them to point at the object too. So that's helpful when they're making choices or when they're looking at something and they want to get your attention and show you what they're looking at. Orange. So point and say. Remember, repetition is how we all learn new words. And so by repeating the word and the noun that you're showing them, this object, they're linking that abstract word with a concrete object that they can see visually. So you're linking what they can hear with what they can see. So you're using two of the senses to help them, and then when you hand it to them, they're feeling it, so they're having the sense of touch. So 3 senses that you're able to use with this kind of activity. You can also use sign language words to add another layer of visual element. So you can say, do you want the orange? Orange. Orange. Or do you want pizza? Pizza. Pizza. If you're interested in learning sign language, I teach a sign language class where you learn 300 of the most commonly used sign language words. I share the very first lesson of the class for free on my website. I will link to it in the description below. People ask me all the time, if I teach my child sign language, won't they not learn to talk, or will that delay them in their speech? And that is not true. That's a very common myth that is not true. Actually, research shows us that when kids learn to sign before they learn to speak, it bridges the gap in communication and it reduces their frustration. It connects them with their caregivers on a deeper level because they can communicate more, and kids can communicate with their gross motor movements sooner than they can communicate with their fine motor movements. So gross motor would be like signing words, signing for milk, signing mama, dada. They can do those motions before they can imitate verbal words that are more complex. Fine motor, there's a lot that they're coordinating. So I just want to dispel that myth because I know someone will ask it in the comments. Sign language does not delay speaking skills. It actually gives children a tool to use to communicate before they can say words so that they're less frustrated, you understand what they need, and they can communicate with you earlier. Something else that's fun to do is to get a flat surface. This could be a large book, or I'm using like a Tupperware lid to create a slide. So you're angling it like this and you make a little slide. Do a verbal routine. That's another strategy that we use a lot, is creating a routine verbally that uses the same words over and over so your child gets used to the pattern and can anticipate what comes next. So you could say banana, up, 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 banana, ready, set, go, and then it slides all the way down. Orange, up, 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 ready, set, go. Orange, and then you could say boom, fell down. So you use the same words over and over with different objects, and they can anticipate what comes next. And sometimes when you get to the top, up, 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 ready, set, then you can pause and wait, which is another strategy, and let them fill in the blank. They might say go, or they might point, or they might go, and that's when you know that you can let go, go. And then you can give your child a turn to do the slide. This is where I would use choices again. I would say, do you want the pear or the egg? And I would wait to see which one they look at. If you're having trouble figuring out which one is their choice, you can spread them apart so you can see where their eyes are a little bit more clearly. You could say, do you want pear or egg? And if they point to one, you could say, okay, pear. Up, 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 pear. Ready, set, go. Boom. And then you could always take the lion, the stuffed animal, and do the same thing. Up, 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 lion. Ready, set, go. This week my son actually tried to climb up the slide. I think he wanted a turn as well. Another thing that you could do, and this would probably be for older children, is to hide a food object under a little blanket or a towel or a burp cloth or something and feel it and be like, ooh, it feels bumpy. It feels like a triangle. What is it? Oh, it's pizza. Another object, I'm like, oh, this one's round. It has a little bump on the end. It's a lemon. So guessing with this barrier is something that will be very helpful for using describing words. It will prompt you to think of words that describe what the object is by touch. So that will expand their vocabulary in a whole new direction. Something else that you can do is categorize the foods. So you can categorize them in many different ways, by color, by shape, by size, by texture, by food group that they're in. Something that I enjoyed doing with my speech therapy clients is categorizing by texture, bumpy versus smooth. So I would say, bumpy, this corn is bumpy. And bumpy is really easy for them to understand because they can put their fingernail on it and they can feel that texture. Bumpy. The lemon is bumpy. The banana is smooth. The egg is smooth. This mushroom is smooth and bumpy. The top is smooth and the bottom is bumpy. So they're learning top, bottom, mushroom, smooth, bumpy. Lots of words from just one little play food. Same with the ice cream. The cone is bumpy and the top is smooth. Some objects are a little bit more complex, which allows for more complex language. So you could say this carrot is smooth, but it has some little bumps in it. and the top, the stem part is bumpy. That green part is bumpy, and the orange part is mostly smooth, but has some bumps. Do you see how much language they're hearing in that one sentence? And then you can expand the smooth and bumpy contrast and comparison to other objects in your house, other toys, other surfaces, foods that they're eating in real life. You can say, ooh, is this smooth or bumpy? Of course, you can separate by color, find all the yellows, find all the oranges, find all the reds, greens. You can categorize by shape. These are round. There's a donut and a cookie and an egg. And then these are rectangular. There's like a Pop-Tart and a cheese stick or a fish stick. These are rectangles. These are oval shape. These are kind of tapered, triangular. I don't know what words you would use to describe these. They both taper and they have a point. They're pointy. And for older children, you could categorize by type of food: fruits, vegetables, meats, etc. You can also do some following directions activities. So depending on the age of your child and if they're able to tell which food is which already, if they know the names of them, you can give a choice. Or you could start with one and say, give the carrot to the lion. The lion wants to eat the carrot. And so then you could hand it to them and then wait and see what they do. If they need some help, you could say, I'll try it with the corn. I'm going to give some corn to the lion. Then you could say, can you give the carrot to the lion? And so you can model it. If they aren't understanding what the words that you're saying mean, you can model it by showing them visually. Then if they've got that down, you can increase the complexity by giving them an option of 2 stuffed animals to feed. So you could say, can you give the corn to the cow? The cow is hungry. And then hand it to them and then wait and see what they do. If you want to increase the complexity even more, you could give them a visual choice of 2, and then they also have this visual choice of 2. So you could say, get the corn and give it to the lion, and then wait and see what they do. If they start reaching for the carrot, you can go like this and put the correct object in front so that they have more chance of linking the corn word with the actual corn object. If they've got that down and they're just like breezing through this type of activity, you could give them a choice of 3 and say, find the pizza and give it to the cow. So they're looking and scanning these visually. They pick the one and then they have to look here and scan and pick the one. So you could make this very, very complex if you want, or you can make it very simple and just have one animal and one food. Give the pizza to the lion and hand it to them and wait. If your child is really active and not really wanting to sit and play like this, no problem. Most kids are really active and they don't have long attention spans for this type of thing. So don't worry, follow their lead, and you can always do a scavenger hunt and you can hide objects around the house. And then you can verbally tell them where to look, which kind of general areas to look to find them. So you could say, I've hidden something crunchy on the stairs. I think it might be an apple. Apples are crunchy. Let's go look on the stairs and see if they can find where the stairs are. So they're hearing location words, things that are around their environment that they're surrounded by every day that are great words for them to learn. More location words would be like, the banana is under the little blue truck book, or the corn is behind your high chair, or the pepper is in my pocket. Where's my pocket? And then you could teach parts of clothing, in my shoe, in your shoe, in daddy's shoe. See how many words and vocabulary they're learning just by doing a simple game of kind of like hide and seek with the objects. You can even make up a little song like, we are looking for the food, the apple's on the stairs, let's go see. Let's go see. You could make up something simple like that so they're hearing those words in a sing-songy way that really increases their attention to what you're saying. Something else you could do is take an egg carton or one of these. I have a little silicone freezer thing, and you can put the objects inside. You could categorize them by color and do a row of yellow, green, red. You could put all the fruits in here, or you could just put them in here and have your child take them out and put them in the basket. And you could make up a verbal routine that's like, pepper out, pepper in. Put them in the larger basket that you have. Lettuce out. Lettuce in. Or you could simplify it and just say out, in, out, in, out, in. Your turn. And see what they do. Then as you're looking through books that you like to read already, you'll probably come across some foods in the books that you have. So there's cheese on this page, there's a pear, there's a fish, and so that matches up really nicely with the Pout Pout Fish book here. So you could say fish, fish. They match. A verbal routine that you could do is you could say carrot, carrot. They match, and put them on the book where they match up. Apple, apple, they match. Banana, banana, they match. Tomato, tomato, they match. So they're seeing a 3D object with a 2D picture, and they're making that connection that these pictures represent a 3D object that they can hold. So in this video, I've mentioned several of these strategies that are on the How Kids Learn to Talk printable that you can download for free at my website, learnwithadrienne.com. When you download that, you'll also receive these free downloads where you'll learn how many words kids should be saying at each month of their development, the Think Like Adrienne blueprint, as well as the milestones for birth to 5 years old for communication, along with recommendations on this side of what things that you can be doing. So these are the milestones that you can check off, and then these are recommendations of things that you can do at home with your child. And if you're concerned that your child is falling behind on their communication skills and speaking skills, if they're not really saying many words yet, and you're concerned, I do have classes that walk you step by step through the process that I take my speech therapy clients through when they're not talking yet, to enable them to say words, phrases, and sentences in order to communicate back and forth with us. I recommend watching my tape video next. I'll link it in this card. It shows you a ton of ways to use just a roll of tape and things that you already have around the house to help your child learn new words. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and go ahead and give this video a like if you enjoyed it and share it with a friend. We're all looking for things to do with our kids, and so I hope this was inspiring to you today. See you in the next video.